pleasure for me as a longtime fan to be sitting here with Aaron Gray.
Here with Larry Hama.
We're talking with Kevin J. Anderson, best-selling author.
Mr. Neil Adams.
I am here with David Prince.
Axel Alonso, editor.
Shadow Stevens. And Dallas Comic-Con with John Delancey.
With Tom King.
Kevin Conroy.
Free comic book day.
Denise Crosby.
PopCon Pop Expo.
We're on location at Star Wars Celebration.
Sci-Fi Expo, talking for our second time with Gil Gerard.
Wichita, Kansas at Time Eddie.
Producer David Gerald.
I've got Eric Flint.
Are here at Smallville Comic-Con.
Wizard World St. Louis.
VillageCon in Bentonville, Arkansas.
Michael Lombardi.
We were talking with Alan Dean.
Quincy Allen.
Suzanne Landon.
Founder of Starlog Magazine, Mr. Kerry Oakwood.
Chris Sami.
Landon Lee. Dave Schwartz. Mano Intirami. Jason Aaron.
This is Sci-Fi for Me, your portal to the science fiction multiverse.
The Immortal Mass, a 1970s superhero crime noir adventure that follows a retired soldier who is given a covenant interview with a death row inmate. What he learns from the interview thrusts him into Atlanta's shadowy underworld. He'll have to utilize his military training to survive from being hunted for the information that could topple the most powerful ruling class in the city. This is not a pre-order or a crowdfunding campaign. Get your books now at Denali's.com.
War never changes. When atomic fire consumed the earth, those who survived did so in great underground holes. When they opened, their inhabitants set out across the ruined and decayed world to build a new society.
Seconds to curtain, folks.
Your favorite podcast is Critical Blast.
Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Hojo. Welcome to the show, man. How you doing?
Hey, RJ, good to see you again.
Last time you were here, it was a pre-launch kind of thing.
Seems like so long ago.
It does. And now, what have you done? You've doubled almost your expectation on Indiegogo.
Right. It's pretty good. It's pretty happening. It's blew away my projections.
Well, it's a good looking book, and it's we're going to talk. Yeah. I know what it's about, but I'm going to have to act.
Yeah.
Because we have new people watching. I got a full chat out here tonight. Eric Needletowski's out there. He just on the show last week. Hey, Eric, glad you're here.
Eric, good to see you.
Will, glad to see you too, man. You're out there in the chat. Okay, you're inflating my numbers. I like that. So it's perfectly fine to do that. So we got an interesting split on your comic thing. We're going to talk about that tonight. But
okay,
let's bring up the Indiegogo first and take a look. You are at 4,000 out of the over 4,000, but out of the 2,500 you expected. So one more 1,000, you're at double.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy. It's like I funded in 13 hours, and I got 4,000 in 13 days. It's just the community support has just been amazing, you know.
And you've reached that sort of a plateau. You probably noticed where it kind of evens out a little bit now.
Yeah,
and then it'll go back up again.
Yep, just keep grinding, man. But it's fun, talking to everybody.
So my question is that it's not just on Indiegogo. You have also decided to go over to Fund My Comic.
Yep, doing great there.
Doing,
I mean,
yeah, fantastic. Look at all that money.
I kind of look at it like, I was one of the original people. It's kind of like you got in on the ground floor.
Sure.
Like, we'll see how far it goes. I like the ideas, or I wouldn't be there. It's not just
I'm
a
just
money
curious
thing.
why you went there before completing your Indiegogo, because it seems like you'd be splitting your audience directions, especially if you want to hit some stretch goals on the Indiegogo.
Right, and they might be coming from other directions as well. It's just catching more traffic. It's just an extra, just an extra plate to catch something.
Yeah. So is there anything substantially different on the one campaign from the other? I mean, is there a reason why somebody would say, oh, if I go to FMC, I'll get this if I buy the book, whereas if I go to Indiegogo, I'll get something else?
No, the only thing that's on Indiegogo right now is like that last piece, like that original art piece is like $75.
Okay.
That's it. Everything's the same, you're going to, you might save yourself on shipping, So it's up to you, really. I mean, if you don't want to give your money to Indiegogo, that's fine, but at the end of the day, if I hit that 5K stretch goal, that's just for the backers as well,
Yeah. Yeah. Now you're not shadow banned on Indiegogo at the moment, right? You're still searchable.
Yep.
Okay.
Managed to avoid that.
One of the lucky ones, right?
Yeah. I guess I haven't ruffled enough feathers, or they keep saying terms of service violation, and I don't know. I know what they're talking about. So it's not clear and specific what it really is,
They'll never come out and say it's exactly
open with it. So
we saw what happened when Crowdfunder came out and said exactly what it was. There was like, oh, was that out loud? Was that recorded?
And then I'm like, who are you?
Yeah.
So whatever. I don't really see, like, it's just a multiple. You just have choices. You're still going to get the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So
what's that?
Good. Go ahead. I'll get to that later.
I said, and then eventually, it could just, like you said, you can use it as a storefront, maybe, possibly, and it's going to be ongoing. So I'm just going to keep it on into where, like, I don't know if you can alert your backers versus this through this, because I don't have any yet. So if you can alert them maybe like a week before you're going to like say where I were like after say I'm getting ready to close down In Demand, right? I would say, hey, tell the backers 10 days we're gonna wrap it up, or let everybody that's on FMC send out an alert on the FMC Twitter page or whatever. Hey, we're going to be ending this in 10 days, and then fulfill all at once.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that's going to work out. I think a lot of it we're first week, we're
and I'm interested to see the metrics on the traffic on that. I meant to, because I was like, oh, I'm going on with RJ. I'll just maybe. I mean, I know you guys can probably figure it out. You and Pixel and all them, and
I have the admin access that I need to have, which is basically to help people with shipping.
Right.
I don't look at the traffic. I don't want to. I don't even like looking at the stats behind the scenes of my own webpage because things are fragile sometimes.
Yeah.
Plenty of times I've said, "Oh, look, they've upgraded these modules. Yeah, load them in. Oh, nothing works anymore. What do I do now? What do you mean backup? What backup?
What backup? Yeah. But it's interesting. It's an experiment. I look at them as like it's kind of like venture capitalism on my end when I don't have to put up any capital. You know, it's just like, hey,
Yeah.
so it's like a public comic store, to be honest, or like an internet comic store. You know, in a way.
So what was your experience putting the campaign together as compared to Indiegogo? Because you'd just done the Indiegogo one, so it's still fresh in your mind how everything fit together there.
Yeah, that took me a while. That took me a while because like they're picture sizes, you know, you had to fit everything in, like as you see, like it's not really conducive to the comics. Well, what I could do with that on Fund My Comic is like they don't have a special section where you load up a picture, right? I just copy and paste it onto the main body, kind of like this, and it's just a description of everything. You know, here's a picture of the comic, here's the description. I didn't copy and paste everything, you know.
But so what you're saying is on Indiegogo, I know that it's like, hey, insert your image here. It has to be this size and this.
Yeah, and I had to, and that like I just couldn't have some skills at some point, and I had to get, you know, Pixel's a whiz with that. So him and Todd have been helping me out with all that. Todd from Redshift Comics,
and for
so
FMC, it was just Control C, Control V. In there
yeah, I did it. I literally did it last night, or not last night, over the weekend in 15 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Because I had everything already there. I'm like, bum, 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 bum.
So, well, we're gonna let's see if this thing grows. I wonder if because Indiegogo you got to refresh and Kickstarter is automatic. I don't know what FMC is, so I don't know if I have to keep refreshing it to see it or if it will automatically roll over some if something changes.
I don't know.
So tell us, you know, for the people who are just tuning in to watch, and there are some, who are the mythicals? Because when I hear, you know, the word mythicals, my mind goes to ancient Greece, ancient Rome, because those are the myths that I was growing up on. The book I would read.
Well, like the mythicals themselves, it's like about level M. Mythicals is like a blanket term for all of what you just said, because I combine all the mythologies. And so it's like a top secret, like a covert task force comprises of like creatures from myth and legend. Like this isn't the whole team right here. You eventually meet more, but like the guy, the vampire there in the back, he's from ancient Rome. He grew up in Herculaneum, which is right next to Pompeii, and so he saw that erupt.
Yeah.
And that guy down there is kind of like a techno mage with the purple glowing hands. So he's like their magical Q. So he can do like spells and stuff, like he kind of like magic, like vocal magic, you would say. But he can do stuff with he's like a mechanical engineer, so he can make all their little gadgets and stuff. He can like teleport this little square he throws. It's pretty cool.
Kind of like sounds like Forge of the X-Men.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. I was a big.
Took me forever to wrap my head around his powers. I'm like, so you're an inventor. How's that?
He's really smart. He's like, I can make. God, why weren't you making iPods and iPads back then? You could have made a killing. You didn't need the X-Men.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah. You weren't that smart.
Yeah. Well, the writer wasn't that smart. That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the problem with writing a genius character. If you're not a genius yourself, he's only as smart as you are.
Absolutely not. Yeah. It's not going to happen. And so that guy with the pistols, that's Lucas Beckett. He's like the only human on the team. So he's like former special forces. So he's the field commander, but he's like my 90s throwback, and they make fun of him because all his like 90s reference, like he's in his late 30s and stuff, and they don't get it. But he's the only human commander of this team, like in the history of it. So that's how badass he is.
Oh, okay. And then the woman up front here, I'm seeing plants and fire, so I'm assuming she's some sort of elemental.
Yeah, that's Nancy Moon. That's the lead. It's kind of like the lens we see everything through. Like we meet this whole world through her eyes, and so like she gets sucked in by the end of the book. She gets sucked into this whole world and finds out monsters are real, and some shit's about to go down, but they don't really know about it yet. That's where the bad guy comes in.
You actually do have a trailer on here, and
we'll
go ahead and play that because you put the work into it. Let's let it pay off a little bit.
Yeah, it's a good time. Hey, Carol.
In a world where creatures of myth and legend exist, covert task force is charged with keeping humanity safe from supernatural threats. And when young Nancy Moon stumbles into the eternal battle between good and evil, she finds...
Oh my God, will you shut up? What's happening? Agent Beckett here. Aren't you tired of stuff like that? Want something different? Roll the tape. Whoops. Sorry about that. That's a song I'm writing for my ex. Okay, here we go. Yeah, that's more like it. Alrighty. Welcome to the world of the mythicals. We have it all. Monsters, magic, government agents. He's the strong silent type. This guy, oh, gross, dude. Get some kind of cream or something. Lots of 90s style action. Pew, pew, pew. And that strong female lead alluded to earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention a dashing field commander with a great sense of fashion. Look at those glasses. South River Studios presents The Mythicals, Issue 1. Buy it if you dare. Oh, will you can it already? How'd you get free? Now beat it before I lose my cool.
So what are you waiting for? Back it today. Like right now.
Back the Mythicals today.
All right, you heard the lady, folks. Back the Mythicals today. And whether you want to back it on Indiegogo or on Kickstarter, ha! Don't go there. Don't go there. If you want to back it on Indiegogo or Fund My Comic, both links right below the video here. Just scroll down a little bit. You'll see them.
You have options.
Yes, it's good to have options. So I'm going to switch back over to the Fund My Comic page because I think it's going to be a little bit easier to read and look at them big bright blocks of color and text and everything. So this is going to be a 24-page comic.
Yeah, it's gonna have a couple pages of fan art too.
Okay, that's cool.
Probably do maybe 4.
And I think this is this 6 a.m. or is this
oh, you know it.
6 a.m. Okay.
Yeah, he did that a while ago. He did that like early last year.
I wonder if that collage he's building is as big as his garage wall yet. I mean, I don't know how he can add any more onto it.
I like his wrestling stuff. It's funny.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Who's your interior artist? Are you doing this yourself?
No, God, no.
Yeah.
No, that's his name's Thomas Tikas. He's from Greece. And Everson Lirio, he's the inker. I mean, he's amazing. He's pretty much like drugged me through this and like held me up a little bit, like showed me because he's got a lot of experience. He's from Brazil, and he introduced me to the colorist, and he's from Brazil too, like Diego Albuquerque. So
there are so many in Brazil who are excellent artists. And of course, your penciler from Greece also.
Yeah.
This looks like I could have picked it up off the stands in 1992.
I know, right? That's got a good story though, RJ. That's the key.
Yeah.
That's the key. That's the key.
That story drives everything.
Yeah.
Neil Gaiman,
especially.
Yeah, Neil Gaiman proved with Sandman because there were some issues of Sandman where
I know
whatever
exactly
artist he had was like, really? But
like the one with the issue of Martian Manhunter, especially. Like I didn't particularly care for. I don't want to shit on it, but it wasn't my cup of tea.
No, although I did like him later on at the Wake.
Yeah,
one of my favorite scenes where Batman, Superman, and Martian Manhunter standing around at the funeral, and Superman's like, "You ever have that dream where your life is just a continuing series of TV episodes?" And Batman's like, "Doesn't everybody?"
Yeah.
And of course, Martian Manhunter says, "I don't, because you didn't have a show, dude."
Yeah, I know.
I thought that was hilarious, but I have a warped sense of humor.
But yeah,
So-
I mean, it's a team-driven book. It's character-driven. Like, I mean, everybody you're going to meet in issue 1 is not going to be who they are in issue 8, 9, and it's a crazy ride with these people. It's fun.
So Nancy
you're going to
Moon's
learn
the-
stuff too.
Yeah, Nancy Moon's the focus of the book, though. That's who we're going to see things through. So this is
Oh, yeah.
her introduction to the team. I'm taking it. They find
Yeah.
her and say,
Yeah,
"Hey, you belong here."
it's that classic, case becomes a more than a case. Just a routine mission.
Yeah. So what is she before she's a mythical?
She's she just graduated college. She's going on a job interview. She wakes up, and then goes to a job interview, and then meets Lucas, but she doesn't know that's him because that's in the it's like one of the pages right there in the elevator. And then by the end of the book, they meet up again, and it's fucking go time.
So does she know she has powers, or do they know she has powers?
You'll find out.
Okay. You're not going to tell us.
I'm getting better at that.
Yep.
Because
You got to be.
in other shows, I'm like, or then try to just like tap dance around as in, no.
Yep. Sometimes you
Read
got to
book.
lie.
Yeah.
So, but they do have a big bad. I mean, the Pope Mum Ra here.
Yeah.
I don't know his name. Or
That's
his,
the Inquisitor.
Oh, is he Spanish?
I don't know.
We'll find out. Read the book.
Yeah, read the book. You'll find out who everybody is. Read the book.
Yeah. And you let it slip last time that he's not the biggest big bad. He's just the biggest puppet.
Yeah.
There's another big bad spoiler behind over here.
Yep. There's always somebody in the background.
Always
Literally.
somebody bigger.
Yep. And maybe, who knows, maybe there's somebody bigger than him.
You never know. Puppets pulling puppets.
Yeah.
I can tell he's got like 4 eyes, which is, disconcerting when you see that. Always makes my head hurt when I'm like, wait, they got eyeballs above their eyeballs.
Yep.
Reconciling. That part of your brain that says this is a face is saying that's a face, but it's not.
Yeah, it's not. But that Gilmore cover is sweet though, huh?
Oh, it is. God, Peter's good.
Yeah, that one's been selling pretty good here the past couple days.
Yeah. So what's the guy's motivation? Can you tell us that? I mean,
this guy, he's an instrument. He's looking for something. So he's like Jaws in the water right now. Like, I guess it was described the other night, like the beginning where the woman's swimming and you just hear the music and then maybe a shadow and then that's it. That's pretty much what he is in this. But you're going to find out that like they end up looking for something or some things, but that's what he's looking for all along. So it all comes to a head eventually.
Oh, okay. So like any smart villain, he makes it known that he's looking for something and then lets the heroes find it for him. And just
pretty much
takes it from them. We got some trading cards here. These
are
man.
Metal. Hudson, yep. The one in the middle is going to be metal. I got to find a better way to say that.
Okay. Well, yeah. I'm just picking words
metal.
out.
The one in the middle was metal.
One in the middle is the flagon with the dragon has the potion with the poison. But that of course is Julian. He is the Roman vampire.
Yep, got him all done in this garb. I had an idea one day, and there's this guy on Twitter, Jeff Lashley. He's like from Tennessee. He's like, that's painted. I got it up there somewhere. It's like a 5x7.
Oh, sweet.
And he took a scan of it, and we made it into a card. And so that's gonna be metal.
So you have cards of the 3 main characters. You don't have a card of Nancy Moon, but I bet you there'll be something.
Oh, I'm pretty sure.
When you it's the I don't have to tell you this.
Well, there was a limited edition print. The first 25 got a print of her.
Okay, see, because I knew it had to be something.
Yeah, I forgot all about that. It went quick.
Yeah, because it's 90s comics. When you have 90s comics, you've got to have boobs, especially if you've got a strong female lead character. Why?
It's purely sexual.
So
pretty much.
It's what sells the books.
Yeah. I might put a picture up here just to say this is what you missed out. But next time there's gonna be a better print on issue 2 or something like that. It's pretty sweet. It's like a Jimi Hendrix homage. She's got like a bandana on, and she made like a guitar out of plants and shit, and it's on fire. And she's like doing like this, like the Berkeley thing back in the 60s. It's pretty sweet. So that's gonna like be my thing. Everybody does the comic book homages. Mine's gonna be like rock and roll related and stuff like that, like album.
And you're gonna do a box.
Yep. What's in the box?
It's a big box.
Yep.
Those are fun to ship, by the way. But yeah, we do that. we just stick a label right on them. No, we don't do that.
No, don't do that. He doesn't do that, folks.
I don't do that. I've never done that. Even if it was a plain cardboard box, I would be like, you know what? That's the box they bought. I'm putting that in another plain cardboard box.
Yeah.
Oh, at least I don't put a sticker right on the back of the comic book. That's been done, right?
I hope not.
Oh, are you that young? Okay. Back in the halcyon days of 2018, 2019. Back when all these movements were just kicking off, somebody did a comic book called Stealing Solo.
Okay.
And it was drawn to look like Harrison Ford. I forget what the whole thing was about. It was a parody, ripoff, all kinds of things. And they mailed it by putting a mailing label on the back cover and just dropping them in the mail.
Wow, I'm pretty sure. Wow.
Oh, the flames on the internet were high that week.
Bet you that didn't get another swing.
Actually, they did a remastered version not too long ago, and I thought, wouldn't it be hilarious if they mailed it the same way?
Did it again.
It's like, I would love to have one of those beat up mailed copies just for the historical fact of this is what somebody did one time, and I've got one.
People thought this was a fucking great idea.
They thought it was smart. They were so wrong.
Oh man, some people just can't. Some people just don't get it.
No, they don't. They don't understand the collectability of it. And that was part of. We saw that when DC, or not DC, Marvel went to Penguin Putnam, Random House for their distribution when they left Diamond, because they're like, yeah, we distribute books all over the place, overnight, everything. That first week, according to retailers, almost everywhere, trash. Just they just treated them like your regular books, and feedback came in, like, no, this is not how you ship comics. And the next week, bundles, shrink wrapped, tightly packed, flat. It's been okay ever since from the people I know who get the Penguin shipments.
Well, at least they addressed the problem and fixed it, though.
Yeah, that's the important thing. If you screw up, fix it. Don't just keep doing it and saying, well, it's how we do things.
No.
Learn and evolve.
Don't be like, that's a you problem.
Yeah, and I've had plenty of me problems in the past, so if I didn't learn, I wouldn't have the business for very long.
Right.
So, have you tested your account to see if it can take money?
No, I haven't actually. No, I had been meaning to go look to see if it said anything about like if you can see how many views you've had or whatever. I haven't checked on that. But
might have to see if we can.
The one thing I don't like about it is like the rewards thing. They organize it, I think, by price. Like I would like it to where when you look at it, the digital tier is not the first thing you see. It's just a marketing thing.
Yeah,
like to have a featured thing. But I think they're working on something like that.
Indiegogo, they don't have a featured thing, but Indiegogo does the same thing. They sort by price. So if your digital tier was like $15, but you had something that was cheaper, digital wouldn't be first.
Right.
I'm just kind of scrolling through it here to find a tier. $13 plus shipping. That's not bad.
Nope.
Or
not bad at all.
For that, and of course, you got an estimated shipping of July. Is that still on track? I mean, where are things at in the build of this?
Oh man, like I've already talked to two printers. One's about a nickel difference. Like mine, the one closest to me is like about a nickel more than the one in it's a place in Florida. So, and then they said it'd be like I think $1.75. Like I just did an estimate for like 500 copies, you know.
Okay.
And they gave me, they were a nickel cheaper down in Florida, and so I don't know if that'd probably offset the cost. I could probably I can probably go in there and silver tongue juice a veterans discount.
Now,
Because I told him, I said I told him I was going to come meet with him in person.
As I'm reading down the FMC side here, I know I'm showing the Indiegogo side, and there's a good reason for that right now. But it says $13 plus shipping, but the shipping comes up to $0. Is that intentional, or is there?
Oh,
is that something to do with?
Oh, maybe I didn't know. Yeah, I don't think it said anything about shipping. Like, was there? I don't think there was a shipping option, was it? Like, maybe I'll just.
I don't know. I haven't gone in yet to play with that, because that's one of the things that we're going to be doing. Is we're going to have an interface to where if somebody says, "Hey, click the button to have Critical Blast do the distribution."
Yeah, I heard Luke talking about it today. That was great.
Yeah, I'll get to go in. Well, for me, it means I get to go in and edit your campaign to set your ship costs to be correct. But there should still be, an initial ship cost. So I'm going to. Maybe this is why nobody's putting the money in, because I was just about to, and now I'm pulling out because I don't know what's up with the ship cost. I want to get that straightened up with Luke first.
Well, when the stream's over, I'll log in and see what I can do.
Yeah, because over here on Indiegogo, if I look at,
it's like $8.
Yeah, either one of these is 13. But then if I say get this perk, it'll pop up here, and yeah, $8 shipping. So we want to make sure that you have the same thing over on FMC.
All right.
Like I said, it's the first week. We're going to iron out bugs. People are going to learn how to use the system.
I could have swore I set that up though. So like when I get off of here, I'll see what I can do.
I was this close to typing in my credit card information too, because I just wanted to see the dollar value go up and see how it worked.
Right.
Plus, I want to get the book. Now, when I get this book, how many books am I committing to get the whole story?
13, my man.
13 books. This is not a 4-issue miniseries. This is like
No, it's like I stole it from manga, man. Like they do these big sprawling epics, and everybody's all like, "Oh my god, this adventure's awesome!" And then they're like, "You can have it. You put it on the shelf, and we're gonna go do something else."
Yeah, we may even kill the character, so you don't ask us if they're gonna come back.
Yeah, there's not gonna be. I mean, I guess as a writer, I can always leave an out that only I know where it's at. Like, I want to do it again. Nobody else is probably gonna pick up on it. But I have other projects I want to do.
You got what you want to do?
I have other projects I want to do. In between like doing this, like I keep myself busy.
Are you going to wait until all 13 issues are done, or are you going to release some stuff in the interim?
Oh yeah, like just weave it in and out. Keep the name out there. Show some range. Yes. Don't be like the AC/DC and just play the same thing.
Yeah, because if you just do the mythicals 1, 2, 3, 4, and you don't do anything else, by the time you get to 13, you're the mythicals guy.
Yeah. So I'm a writer. The mythicals is just my initial IP. That's it. And well, I mean, I've already got 6 issues written now, so I'm kind of ahead of the game.
When you say written, do you mean like they're
no,
written as
they're
a
not
narrative?
Yeah, they're not edited at all. Like I still have to go through. Issue 2 is like I did my first edit, and then I'll always go through, and as I read it, I'll picture the panel in my head, and then that's when I add like, if I need to, like a camera angle description or like a, you know what I'm saying, like a perspective thing.
Yeah,
because that's how I work.
Yeah, comic scripts are hard because
and then
it's not a story; it's a letter to an artist.
Yeah, and so the thing with me is, like I was on with Aldous on the farm last night, and we were talking about like, especially in the horror genre, like page turns and stuff. You really have to pay attention to that. Like that is a fundamental comic flaw I see in some some things I've seen out there, even in the mainstream too. You know, they've kind of lost the. They've lost a lot.
They've gone into it thinking that it's an illustrated story.
Yeah, it's like they're trying to storyboard or something and trying to write all this dialogue, like 20-word balloons around this double splash. I'm sorry, it's a Twitter feed. It's your text conversation with your friend.
The fact that, you know, you have it. There's and you know, for the reader, it's almost they don't even know what's happening to them.
Yeah.
But you know, to the creators, they know. You start at the, you know, top left, you go to the bottom right, and the bottom right better be something that's like, what? Turn that page, get going to the top left of the next page. And I want to say that there's even a throughout the book pattern. I've heard that, you know, Stan Lee showed this at some point, but like they disassembled a comic book and they laid out the pages. And as they laid it out, you could see this diagonal flow of action throughout the whole story that was just like, it was like gravity just pulling you all the way to the end of it.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. Actually, there's something that really pops in my head too. Like, remember 0 Hour?
Yeah.
That whole, there's a thing like at the end where it was like, was it Wave Rider or what is it? What is that his name? Wave Rider? Where he like, it's like these 12 panels, but they're really, really skinny and it goes off and it's like him like fading off. And it's almost like reminding me like Barry Allen, like when he died in Crisis. Like, it might have been what they were going for now that I think about it in hindsight. But it was just different. And that's why I picked this artist because of his panel placements.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Panel. You can tell, oh my God, panels telling stories. There are so few artists out there, creators. I don't mean just artists, writers who tell other artists how to do it, like Alan Moore, who know what they've got with the medium of comics. Jimmy Gownley is the best one I can think of. The way he uses panels to tell a story, he does Amelia Rules, and it's very much like this Charles Schultz, Bill Watterson style of comic telling of a middle school girl and her friends doing crazy things. And first of all, he'll go through the whole graphic novel with 3/4 of the way. You're like, oh, these guys are hilarious. Oh, this is great. This is funny. And then you turn the page and you just get sucker punched across the jaw. Like, that wasn't nice. Why am I crying? And it just reminds you, so no, this is what the book's really about. It's about her growth. It's about things happening to her. But there's this one volume called The Past is a Present. And she's sitting with her mom and they're going through the family album. Her parents are divorced. She goes to her dad sometimes, her mom's most of the time. And they're looking back into the past. And as they look at the furthest back into the past, the pictures of her family, her great-grandparents, are drawn like Jim Scancarelli's Gasoline Alley. So it's like, it's an homage to the comics.
Oh, man.
And it's like looking back in the past. And then as you come a little forward, there's like Chick Young's Blondie and Dagwood style. And then, a Trudeau style with the Doonesbury as you get into the 80s. And it was like, and each one had word balloons, which, weren't probably in the actual thing she's reading, but you could see the action going on. And each one was a comic strip. And it had, a setup, an action, punchline. But as you go through the rest of the book, she's looked at the photo album, she's seen where she comes from, but she hasn't quite absorbed the fact that all of that led up to her being her. And there's a scene near the end where it hits her. The things that have been going on have made her start introspecting a little more. And you turn that page, and suddenly there are panels of those strips just floating in space there. And I had to go back and look. I'm like, yeah, that's the actual panel, because that one panel juxtaposed with a different panel, you had a totally different narrative flow. It was actually telling a story that was important. And not only that, because Jimmy Gownley's a madman, when you pulled the page back, the background of each of those panels, as they were overlaid with each other, drew Amelia's face.
What? It's like,
so it's like this double metaphor. And I was like, I told you, there are geniuses in this industry who know what they've got with a comic. You
Yeah.
cannot do that with a cartoon. You could not do that with a book, a television show, a movie. You could only do that with a comic book.
Yep. And like there are some panels in this where like I didn't go full on Alan Moore, but like a smidge. Like there are a couple like I mean I even did kind of a couple layouts. Something was like, all right, I want this panel to be this way. I want this here, this here, this here. I'm going to send you a picture of this. I want this in the panel. Blah blah blah. And dude was probably like, fuck me.
Oh. Well,
but
you know, have you seen an Alan Moore script?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
11 pages for page 1.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Watchmen page 1 was 11 pages of text. It was crazy.
If I were like Dave, I'd be like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. But the best thing you can learn from Alan Moore is transitions, because he'll always he will frequently, I won't say always, but he will frequently end a scene, and the last word balloon of that scene will be on the panel of the next scene. And while it's clearly finishing that conversation,
it's telling you what's on the page.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you're back in this, RJ. I'm really glad, because you're gonna be happy with that. Remember this. Remember that statement.
I will.
I was a big. I love the Swamp Thing work. Like, I mean, Watchmen. Like, it's almost like Watchmen has almost become overrated because everybody says it's overrated. Everybody praises it, and like one of those people, like once it becomes really mainstream and cool and stuff like that, I'm like, stop it, stop talking about it.
I know. It's like I don't listen to REM anymore because everybody loves them.
Stop it. So stop. And I like Leave Extraordinary Gentlemen Who Didn't. Like that showed me that really showed me his range, you know.
Yeah, it got weird. In the later
yeah, I don't think I read it there at the end, but like initially, like I mean, it was just like, oh my god, this is a great idea. This is a fantastic idea.
He he didn't care so much for Dorian Gray being in the movie, because he's like, well, what do you do? Nothing happens to him. He's like, hello, Dorian, you're looking well today. Again. And I was like, I think you're just jealous because you could do a lot with a guy who doesn't die.
I know. It wasn't. Looking back on it, wasn't a terrible movie. It wasn't really the comic at all, but it wasn't like it. I guess if you had never read it before, it's a decent film, I suppose.
Yeah,
but I know what it should have been. Yeah.
Moore himself
Sean
said,
Connery wasn't a fan.
Movie. They asked him, you know, what do you think of the film? He's like, what am I supposed to think of it? Somebody came and said, we want to do a movie that's coincidentally got the same title as a book you do, and oh, by the way, here's a bucket of money. You take it and you go. Hey, Aaron, good to see you out in the chat there, man.
Hey.
Appreciate you popping in. Edwin's out there as well, and I just ignored his chat for 20 whole minutes because we were talking. Sorry about that, man. I did not mean to ignore you like that. The only thing in League that it's the first thing I think of anytime I think of the movie, I'm like, yo, yeah, that was in there, is this aircraft carrier length Nautilus submarine making a right turn at the canals of Venice.
Yeah.
How did you do that without knocking buildings over?
That's Captain Nemo, because he's good.
He drifts that thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I should watch it again. I haven't watched it in forever.
I mean, Sean Connery obviously is not a huge fan.
No.
But I don't know. It's not like I said, it's not a terrible movie, but it's loads better than stuff that kind of they put out now.
He was the perfect casting though for Alan Quatermain. So.
Oh, 100%. He's almost a perfect casting for everything he's ever been in. I'm not going to speak of the tights or was it Zoltak or Zoltan or something? Something. I don't want to talk. I don't even picture it in my head. Still
a little further into the future.
Yeah.
See, for me, it's the giant teddy bear suit that he wore in the Avengers.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, well, your mind said that didn't happen.
Yeah, I memory hold that. I was like, this and never say never again. Oh no, I couldn't take another one.
But, so, speaking of casting, cast the Mythicals. Yeah. Netflix just knocked on the door, said, "Hey, we're going to make the movie, but you got to tell us who you want."
Oh man, I would. He's old now, but I would kill for the guy that played Mal in Firefly to be like Lucas. That would be awesome. Nancy Moon. I don't know. I'd have to think about that. Jessica Alba back in the day would have been perfect. Oh no, I don't know. Like the vampire. I'm not good with this. I haven't had this question. The vampire. I don't know.
So when you told the artist
Adrian
what it
Brody
looked
would
like,
look good in that because he's Italian. Like he would.
it would work.
Yeah. Like Nancy, I
Lemonade.
modeled her after. Like I told the artist, I said do like kind of like a Debbie Harry from Blondie, but different color hair and all that. And I gave her a Cindy Crawford mole. So, like I said, this is a '90s book, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And like this page, like the big guy going out the door, man, that looks like it's from an Image comic almost.
Oh yeah, he's
like when he sent me this the pencils for this, I was like, oh my god, that I got to put that in the trailer.
Yeah, he looks like he'd be a CIA guy in Spawn.
Yeah.
Now who's doing the interview here? Because that's not any of the team members, is it? I mean,
no, he's on the cover. That's him in the back. Those two guys.
Oh, okay.
Dan Dog cover.
Got it.
Yeah.
I was thinking of all the people up in front. They're background players. So, are they going to be up against the Inquisitor all 13 issues? Or
it's gonna take a while. It's a slow burn with him. Everybody's got to be where they need to be.
Yeah, because I was wondering how you're going to draw the story out over 13 is like, a short story that leads to the next story that leads to the next story. And they're
I kind of broke it up into volumes. Like the first couple issues is called Prophecy and Protocol. So,
okay.
But it all feeds into the larger narrative. They're like single contained adventures. Like, well, actually, the first 2 issues is almost like a 2-issue or a 2-part pilot, I guess you would say.
Meet Nancy Moon.
Yeah. So it's like the first 2 days of this. Like the first one, like she finds out all about this, and then the next day is like her first day at work, and we get a mission. And so it ends up. Remember that show? It was called The Pirates of Dark Water.
Oh yeah, I do remember that.
It's like they were looking for like these pieces to all connect and do some whatever, And so it kind of borrowed something from that. Like I'm a big Indiana Jones fan. I'm a big history. What's up, Ray?
Hey, Ray.
And so I kind of like tried to throw all that into here. Like, it's kind of like National Treasure, like where they're looking for something, everything's going to point them to the next piece. And it's just like this race to,
I love the National Treasure movies.
Yeah.
Those are,
so I get the world
so
hop.
fun.
I get the world hop in this, and we get to go on all these cool adventures and fight monsters and find secrets out. And,
so if you're gonna go around the globe and go to all these different places, what's the research like on this?
Well, like I said, I was a big I grew up. My mom let me watch Clash of the Titans. Like I love that movie. I was probably my son's age now, and that's no joke. I was like 4 or 5, and like she got me a book. I'm like, oh, what are all these things? There's like superheroes,
Yeah.
And so the Pantheon and all that, and then I got a few books on ancient Egypt and stuff like that. And I have some Native American heritage, so I looked into that in the past, and I've kind of been brushing up on, trying to get like a general consensus around the world. I'm not trying to step on any toes. It's like I said, it's just a book.
Yeah, of course. Well, yeah, you're not trying to
relax. It's not a theological discussion.
But what's interesting though, when you start looking at all the different myths from around the world, is you start to see there's a lot of overlap.
Exactly.
Which makes you wonder, did something really happen, and what was it that really happened that everybody talked about?
Well, see, like religion in ancient times, and the way I've always looked at it is it's like creation myth and how this happens and what this is, and it was religion and worship and stuff like that was a way of explaining things that humans were incapable of understanding, like electricity or lightning or chemicals, stuff like that. Like they didn't get it. We evolved. The society evolved. Let's just say that. And then, so they just, I guess, branched out. You know, everybody has a common thread. You know, I've noticed.
Yeah, I mean, you got some myths that are wildly different. You know, you got the let there be light on one side. You've got the great cow Emer licking everything out of the ice on the other side. No
Right.
relationship between those two.
No.
Then on the other hand, you've got the Judeo-Christian Noah, and you go down to South America, and they're like, oh wait, you had a guy in a boat. Oh, his name was Noah.
Yeah. Wow.
Really?
Well, what? Hey, we're like cousins.
How did you know? Who came and
Yeah.
told you this story?
Yeah.
Oh, he's lived here. You say.
And I mean, and you just look at over the world, throughout the world, like monoliths, you know, stuff like that, that they somehow they look the same just from 10,000 years between these civilizations. And you look at the pyramids in South America. I'm not saying that it was aliens, the guy with the weird hair, but it was aliens. But it just makes you think. And
yeah, because how was there contact between the civilizations?
Yeah,
that's a whole other show. I think T Bunny probably runs that show.
Oh, the CNC.
Yeah.
But so it's just a big sandbox I can play with, So I could pick and choose and do whatever I want. Just
so do you have
move the story along?
We talked about Watchmen, and I'm going back to that to go forward with this again. If you read the Watchmen, it's 12 issues long, but it also subdivides. The first 2 issues were all focused on the comedian. The second 2 issues were all focused on Ozymandias. The third, 4th, 5th, and 6th are all focused on Rorschach. Each one got a 2-issue arc of focus. Are you going to provide some sort of focus on the different characters that make up the mythicals, or is it more of the you don't need to know the backstory of every single person here. They're here now, they're kicking ass, and you have to get the back.
Oh, there's so many things revealed. Like I said, you don't have the whole team yet. Like in book 2, there are like 3 more people that you get to meet. And then that's the secret sauce. That's when getting all of these characters together, and then to find out, maybe some have known each other for hundreds of years. So lots of people go way back. And then everybody gets their time to shine because, like I said, we can world hop. All of these people are from different areas of the world. So everybody gets their little homecoming.
Okay.
And so, like I said, everybody's here for a reason.
So we'll learn about them.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. And actually, the trading cards, there's little biographical data on the back. So you get a little... What I would love to do if I had the budget, I know everybody says this, if I had unlimited money, I would make these little He-Man mini comics, just in the same style, and give everybody an origin or whatever, because that's what they were. There was the origin, whatever that toy was.
Yeah,
and,
it came with the toy.
And I think at the end there was a little mini story or something. But to do something like that, it'd be pretty cool. I would love to do that.
I love those things. It would be cool. Just if you made those, you'd have to make the action figures too. So
yeah, I know it's
all out. You can't cheap out on it now.
I know.
Are you thinking ahead as to what things like that you do want to do with the book, though? I mean, because you got your trading cards now, you got the big box. You must be thinking hey, I really want to do a blacklight poster at some point, or.
Yeah, I had that idea on this one, but finances, economy, shit.
Yeah. Sell books, then add chunkies.
Yes, exactly. I'm going tomorrow to put up a bunch of flyers.
I heard about that. You're going to advertise around town that there's a book for sale online.
Not just here, I'm going to another town, 30 miles away. That's a college town. They have a pretty big, that comic shop when I was there, never seen one that busy in probably 15 years. You
visited your local newspaper?
Yeah, I might do that. I didn't think about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to be downtown tomorrow. Yeah, I'll put them. Yeah. RJ, you're amazing.
No, well, I've been there. When I had my first novel published, I of course sent it to my local paper. Said, hey, here's your local boy does good article thing that you always like to do, and they came, took the pictures, told the story, and sold books.
Yeah, and one of the guys, there's like a comic book shop in the city I work in, and my hometown, like the one, like the newspaper. They said, God, what was it? He said that his mom has a used bookstore downtown in the city where I'm going, and I'm like, oh, well, I'll just visit her. There's like a D&D shop down there too. So because this has got that kind of like that horror fantasy. It's got like a fantasy element too, because you got all these Dungeons and Dragons dudes are going to see the booty juice cover and be like, yeah, I want that. I don't care what that's about. I want that. And so there's a lot of places, man, that's been willing to do it. Like the library, I'm going to all the libraries.
Oh, give a talk at the library. Yes. Yeah. Don't just go in and say, hey, I've got this book. Do you want to add it to your reading list?
Right.
But say, hey, I'm a comic book creator. Do you have any open nights in your schedules of speakers for people you bring in to talk about things? Because,
they do it all the time. Yeah. And I'm actually at like a mile and a half from the library. So.
Yeah. So be that guy standing up in front of the room talking about it.
Great.
When you
talk about like after it's printed, right?
Well, yeah. You want to have something to show.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Process stuff. And when you talk to your newspaper, and they say, well, if they say, but they will say, when can we talk? Talk to your local comic shop guy and say, yeah, can you meet me at so-and-so's comics? And that way the pictures that are taken of you about the story will be in the comic shop, and your comic guy will get, sort of a bit of free publicity out of the thing. Yeah, and you'll be surrounded by comics while you're talking about comics. And
see, there's no comic shop like actually, you know what? There's we have a gigantic flea market, but it's got this huge, a huge area with, it's all like 80s and 70s toys. It's called Grandma's Attic. And it's ginormous. It's like the size of like almost like a small convenience store, like with all this, and they got a bunch of comics and stuff there too.
Okay,
So
well,
that's on my list.
I thought you had a local comic shop.
Yeah, it's like 30 miles away.
Oh, that's not local.
Yeah, no.
My home base when I'm not here is Belleville, Illinois. There are 5 local comic shops.
Wow.
So literally it's like, oh, did you run out of this? Okay, I'm going to run over here. And it's just across.
Man. That's, spoiled.
We have way more comic shops than we deserve. I guess there's Cosmic Comics, Twilight Comics, one I don't remember, fantasy books and games. Yeah, there are 5 of them right there. So.
Well, we do have an actual store now that I think about it. It's kind of like what I was talking about, but she does have a lot. She has a lot of comic stuff. She has like a whole section off. She's got a bunch of back issues and stuff like that. Yeah, it might be good publicity for her. She's a good lady.
Yeah, talk to her, talk to the paper, get your picture in the local section, and then scan it and put it in Twitter so we all see it. Okay.
Nice. I will.
Give everyone else the idea to do the same thing.
Yeah, smart.
So many of us were thinking, the thing is, think globally, act locally is what they say.
Yeah.
Do that with your comics. Think globally, get out there and Indiegogo, but act locally and, tell the people you're actually around instead of the people who read your missives on Twitter and Facebook.
Right on.
Because they're, it's different for them when they're right there with you. It's like, I'm going to buy your book. I know the guy. I've talked to him. He's on Twitter. He's been on my show. But if you live down the street, it's like, I know this guy.
Yeah,
he signed my book. I talk to him all the time.
Yeah, because I go to like a bunch of breweries and stuff. I'm friends with a lot of the people at the one that's near me, and I was like, I didn't even think about that. I'll put the flyer up there.
Yeah,
worth a shot. What's it going to do? It cost me it cost me 70 cents per page.
Yeah,
that's it.
Let him walk up to the bar and say, Hojo, is that you I saw on the bulletin board? You're making a comic? I didn't know you were a comic guy. What comic you making? Tell me about it. Where can I get this comic at?
I know. I hit up everybody at my job.
Yep.
So, and I ask people, I'm like, hey, did you have, kids that are into comics? The people older than me. Should have somebody like in their teens and 20s and stuff like that.
Sometimes they're the ones that are into the comics and the kids aren't.
Yeah, true.
So
yeah.
it wasn't my house.
Yeah, I have a couple. I have, I think I've got 3 because we're getting our bonus at work next paycheck, and I know 4 people that have said that they're going to get it. So let's
hold them to it. You treat it like your Girl Scout cookie list. Put a sign-up sheet in the break room, and then just put it into Indiegogo.
Oh, I reminded him Monday. I said, I know we got the bonus check. I know we got the amount reveal, so I know exactly how much disposable income you're going to have.
Exactly. Perfect time to buy yourself a comic.
Yep.
All right. Well, we passed the top of the hour here, but that's okay. This has been a good discussion. We've not just talked about the book, but we've covered some stuff we don't normally talk about as far as marketing goes and development of the story and stuff.
I mean, face to face, you cannot beat that in sales.
No, you never can, because people can ignore you online, and you won't even know it. So I'm going to wrap things up, and then I'm going to get with Luke, and I'm sure you are too, because we're going to talk about shipping costs on Fund My Comic there, so that we can, because you know what, I've seen the other books out there on Fund My Comic that are collecting money. Surely they have shipping. I'm going to just go to the top here and pick one. I'm going to check out old Doc Quasar and see what happens when I click on this. There's $20 for a virgin cover. Choose that reward. Your contribution 20. You know what? There's no shipping on this one, but there's no shipping field on this one. That's a completely different kettle of fish. It's
so it's not just me.
It's not just you. Let me look at Soltac. Okay, now this one says plus shipping at least. So he had his shipping built into it. So if I click on this one, it's 15 plus shipping, 15 and 0. Yeah, we need to talk about shipping. So that's something we're going to hash out here in about 5 more minutes. So, Hojo, thanks for coming on.
And, man.
Talking with us more about the mythicals.
Yep.
Looking
best
forward
deal
to
out there, folks. Best deal out there.
Yes. Link below. Hit it, click it, send it some money. And this summer, it's just a few months away, you'll get your first issue, and you know how first issues are for comic book people. Yeah,
yes.
We'll be promoting the second issue when it happens, but this is the first. This is the number 1. You never get a second number 1. Well, you didn't used to get a second number 1 ever. Now that you get a number 1 all the time.
Every other month.
Marvel. Yeah, from Marvel. All
6
right,
issues.
folks, 6 issues. We meant for it to be a 13-issue series. It was.
Yeah.
All right, everybody in the chat, thank you so much for being here tonight. We do not have a show without you. We're just podcast falling in the woods otherwise. So we're glad that you're here. And while you were here, we just hope you had a blast. Good night, everybody.